This is the third video about the new X-Tool P3 CO2 laser. Today I'm going to put into practice everything I've learned over these past few weeks using this laser, and to do that, I'm going to engrave some cylindrical objects. Besides testing this laser's rotary attachment, I'm also going to try and make a new plate for my router's plunge base. I'll use one of these plastics that almost no one wants to cut with a CO2 laser, ABS plastic. I want to check if it's as complicated to cut as they say in forums. If you're interested in seeing all the improvements X-Tool has implemented in this laser, I suggest watching my two previous videos. In the first one, you'll see an overview of all of its features. In the second one, I tested out its ability to cut acrylic by making a stained glass inspired LED light box. Before showing you all the steps I followed to complete these projects, I'd like to remind you that if you're interested in purchasing this new X-Tool P3 laser, I can send you a code that will give you a substantial discount. Each code is one time only. You have to send me an email and I'll reply with your discount code that you can use on the X-Tool website. You'll find my contact email in the bio of this YouTube channel or on my website. If you use these affiliate links to make your purchases, you'll help me continue making videos like this one. I'll start by trying out the Array 3 rotary attachment. It comes disassembled in an attaché case, which is very practical to keep it all in one place. Preparing it for use is quite simple and can be done in a matter of seconds. This accessory has so many grip options for all kinds of cylindrical objects that I need a full video just to show all of them. I'm going to try and engrave the new logo in this wooden goblet, which a friend of mine gave me around 30 years ago. It has sentimental value to me, but I trust this laser's AI make function will do a good job. At any rate, and in order to familiarize myself with this accessory, first I'll try to do an engraving on a glass cup I have at home. Holding down the cup with the RA3 rotary is really quick and easy. Connecting the accessory to the laser is even easier. You only have to align it with some metal pins and plug it into the laser. Now I have to open the X-Tool Studio app and choose the rotary attachment work option. I'm going to make a 3D model of the goblet, and to do that I only have to push a button and wait for a few seconds while the laser head takes some references. When that's done, the result is a grid with the surface of the goblet on a plane. Now I have to import the file I want to engrave into it and position it on the grid. Another advantage of the AI make function is that I can see the 3D model I have made of the object with the engraving on top, so that I can have a clearer picture of the end result. When I start engraving the goblet, I realize I can't see the process on my PC with the laser's main camera. I have to select the camera that's right on the other corner. It would be great if there was a camera closer to the engraving area of this rotary attachment. Looking at the work in front of the laser, it seems everything's going okay. It's doing the engraving little by little. It's interesting to see how this tool combines the 3 axes to engrave spherical surfaces. After around 15 minutes, the laser finishes its work and it seems the result doesn't look bad, but on some corners of the letters, the engraving appears to be running off the glass. This is probably due to me not using the appropriate parameters. It's not easy to set the engraving into glass for the first time. I repeated the engraving on a different cup by changing the engraving settings a little with a bigger logo, and now it looks like I got a good result. After doing these tests, I think it's time to engrave the wooden goblet. As it's a small engraving on wood that isn't too thick, I'm going to swap the medium lens with the small lens to get more definition. Taking care not to get it dirty, I'm going to install the new lens in its emplacement. I repeat the same steps as before and generate a 3D model of the wooden goblet, on which I position the logo. The laser engraves the wood little by little, but I have to admit right now I'm not sure about the result. After cleaning the goblet a little, I was relieved to find out the laser did an amazing engraving. Now I'm going to make a new base plate for my router's plunge base. A few weeks ago I broke the plate that comes as standard with the base. I created a CAD design of the plate, which I imported into the Xtool Studio program, and cut the new plate using this piece of MDF. You'll find that you can barely see where the laser cut. The laser curve on this material must be barely 0.2 millimeters. This is a very useful feature in some jobs, impossible to get with a bit of a CNC. I'm going to check if the plate adjusts to the plunge base and the template guides bushing I use. Looks like everything is correct, so I'm going to place the ABS plastic plate on the laser to cut the new plate. I imported the CAD file into the Lasers app and divided the cuts into 2 layers. I'm going to set a curve offset of 0.3 millimeters. I think the curve on this plastic will be a little bigger than on the MDF I tried a moment ago. I think it's really useful being able to implement this kind of offset in the app itself. I selected black acrylic in the material library and upped the power of the laser a little. The laser cuts at full speed and without any complications. It does produce a lot of smoke, but there's nothing the laser's extractor can't eliminate fairly quickly. Let's take a look at the result. The top has a few marks at the laser's entry point. I think this is easy to solve by modifying the cutting parameters. The bottom looks worse. The plastic has melted a little on the outside. I don't think this can be solved from the laser sap, but we can do it with sandpaper. If sanding down the plastic piece is not a problem for your project, I think you can cut this kind of plastic without issue using a closed laser like this. All that's left now is to countersink the bolts and try out the new plate. The interior and exterior measurements are perfect. It looks like I offset the cut correctly. The positions of the holes for the bolts also seem to be correct. Finally, I have a new plate for my plunge base. Before we finish, I'd like to remind you that I can share with you a discount code to buy the new Xtool P3. You only have to send me an email and I'll reply with a code. You'll find my email address in the bio of my YouTube channel or on my website. See you soon.